Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever. What a wonderful phrase. Wakanda forever. Ain't no passing craze. With no plans to recast the late great Chadwick Boseman's King T'Challa, we'll be looking at 6 different storylines for the MCU's Phase 4 installment of the Black Panther mythology, which releases July 8th, 2022. We'll fantasize about how Shuri, Okoye, Nakai, M'Baku, Ramonda, and Everett Ross fit into the future of Ryan Coogler's Vibranium Town. Shuri is the simplest and most obvious choice to take the Black Panther mantle in Wakanda forever. It's her birthright as T'Challa's little sister, and she certainly has the brains as well as the creativity to lead. The lady has already done so in the comics. In the 2009 Dark Reign storyline, The Deadliest of the Species, Ororo Munroe, aka X-Woman Storm, has married King T'Challa, becoming the Wakandan queen. This would have been a much clearer way for the MCU to usher in the 20th Century Fox gang rather than the confusing Quicksilver mashup from WandaVision. Anyway, the King's ship crashes upon its return to Wakanda from a diplomatic mission. T'Challa went to discuss the rising power of one Norman Osborn, a potential future big bad for the MCU's Phase 4, with Namor. He also visits Latveria where he confronts Dr. Doom, a big Osborn supporter, and has a nasty brawl with him. With King T'Challa incapacitated, and in the movie, we imagine they'd have him join his father in the Great Circle of Life because of real-life circumstances, Queen Ororo appoints Shuri as his successor. Her training is character-revealing, showing us she's not as calm and collected as she is in the world of magic science and explaining things. It's very easy to criticize the powers that be, but growing into the power that be ain't no walk in the park, making this a coming-of-age Shuri story. Shuri gets into Herbalife and has a meeting with the Panther God. Keep in mind it is tradition to send unworthy Black Panther candidates to the afterlife. And you know how Wakandans love their traditions, so yeah, the stakes are pretty high. He is like a traditional parent in the sense that nothing is ever good enough for him, and is hypercritical of her after just a few sniffs. He famously says, "The mantle of the power is not about entitlement. It is about sacrifice, about putting the greater good ahead of the pursuit of glory." In this story, criticism works as it turns her from a caterpillar into a butterfly. It was the final test, telling her she wasn't good enough but sparing her life. This is to see if she's still able to believe in herself and trust all the hard work she put in after basically being told she shouldn't. Panther gods can be so mean. This is necessary because the maniac Morlun lurks in the shadows, having been revived by some rebels plotting their shot at destabilizing the nation of Wakanda. Shuri puts her life on the line fighting Morlun, ending her me, myself, and die days and maturing her into the Black Pantheress. Good for her. M'Baku, the leader of the White Gorilla cult, has made it no secret he wants to be the #1 guy.
I know you want to hand the nation over to this prince.
After he lost to T'Challa in the fight for the throne and repaid his life debt he owed him for showing mercy on him in their fight, old ways have a way of sneaking back into the hearts of men. He has the leadership charisma and the fighting chops to boot. We haven't yet seen M'Baku don his white gorilla getup, as when he becomes Man-Ape, the leader of the Jabari tribe gets extra power. A white ape Black Panther mashup of a leader would shake things up in Wakanda. Where do we go from there?
Vibranium.
Wakandans are rich in vibranium, and the US of A, now knowing of its existence, might want it for S.H.I.E.L.D., probably to make more durable hovercrafts. Despite Everett Ross's protests, the US invades the secret nation, forcing the new Wakanda to go to war with the biggest military force in the world. M'Baku fights bravely and with extreme gusto and vigor, but ultimately meets his demise, as he's used to tribal warfare, not the international kind. After the passing of the king, a new interim Black Panther is named in haste. In this story, in a surprised twist, is Ramonda. Although in her younger days she was probably quite the brawler,
Let's go.
as an older woman, she can initiate the Black Panther's power of calling upon the ancestors to go to war. Like how Rey called up the old Jedi to fight her final battle, Ramonda could call up the ghosts of all the fallen Black Panthers to fix all of Wakanda's problems. Panthers like T'Chaka, T'Challa, and Eric Killmonger, all the way back to the very first inception of the nation. The Army of the Dead will scare off S.H.I.E.L.D. real good and establish Wakanda as the world's dominant military force, as well as show us that superheroing is not just a young man's game. Why not do an Okoye and the Dora Milaje story? We've had the Bodyguard movie, the Bodyguard TV series, and the Hitman's Bodyguard. Why not show what the elite dames of the Wakandan Royal Guards can do when really pushed to their limits? Okoye and the Dora Milaje have a special forces squad in the comics to support the main Avengers. Okoye could create a strike team including Mbaku, who's probably bored and looking for action, her ex-lover Wakabi for that will they won't they ex-drama, the other red shirt members of the Dora Milaje, and just for fun, Luke Cage as an honorary member. It'd be good to see the indestructible man back in action again. And finally bridge the gap between the Marvel Knight TV shows and the MCU. The agents of Wakanda fought many of the great Marvel villains, like Ursa Major, the world's drunkest bear? Okay. On Okoye's team in the comics, you've got the machine gun-toting, pants-wearing ape Gorilla Man, there's John Jameson, the Man-Wolf, American Eagle, Dr. Nemesis, and Fat Cobra. Okoye and the agents of Wakanda are essential in the war on Doom, the Latverian nut who's never up to any good. The Adored Ones are considered to be wives in training to the Wakandan king, and also are a few degrees removed from being queen. As King T'Challa is deceased, if something were to happen to Ramonda and Shuri, which may happen with the Tyrant Doom in the picture, Okoye could conceivably take the throne, and in the pit fights for becoming Black Panther, I think she'd be a favorite to win and take the mantle. Nakia was T'Challa's former lover, and super into fighting. Unlike Shuri, she's made for combat, as Shuri is more of a tech whiz. She's great with weapons and battle tournament ready. Here's how it might go down. At King T'Challa's funeral, she proposes her candidacy for Black Panther. After crushing it at a good old-fashioned waterfall fight, it is revealed that she's pregnant with T'Challa's baby. Oh my. The elders are angry, as they like their royal babies to be born of wed mothers, and don't like their warrior queens to brawl with a bun in the oven. Meanwhile, Zenzi is the new heel on the horizon to the Black Pantheress. She has an ability to destabilize people emotionally, and engages in guttural warfare.
Then, the girl had her first child,
sending Nakia into internal warfare and the people of Wakanda into riots. After almost throwing herself off a cliff, she gets a hold of her spiraling thoughts and, with the help of her royal guard, invades Zenzi's home country of Naganda and challenges her to a final showdown. Nakia eventually wins, but is critically wounded and must be rushed back to a Wakandan hospital. Nakia passes on to the afterlife, but the doctors are able to extract and save her and T'Challa's baby. The elders learn to revise the Wakandan constitution and be more tolerant of alternative lifestyle choices, liberating many repressed Wakandans and allowing them to live more freely. Oh, that's nice. This right here is what CBR wants for Wakanda Forever. Strap in. We open up on the dawn of the Wakandan civilization 10,000 years ago, which was first occupied by the originators. And in this version, we jump back and forth in time between the turbulent beginnings of Wakanda and its contemporary current post-T'Challa, post-Tony Stark state. It'd be like how in The Godfather Part 2, we see the Corleone family's beginnings as well as their current state of affairs. In flashback Wakanda, we can see how the area was inhabited by the beastly Simbe, Vanyan, Anansi, and creeping Doom tribes. Then came the Vibranium, then came the humans, then the money, then the problems. The originators were displeased with the humans' greedy fracking behavior and went to war with them. The humans developed a faith which allowed its heroes to ascend to godhood. These are called Orisha.
Which side of the road is it?
For Bast's sake, just try.
The god Bast was and is Wakanda's most prominent deity, born of faith. The humans, the Orisha, and the first Black Panther Bashenga defeat the originators and begin to build their civilization. This is where we kick it up a notch. Olympia. You know, where the Eternals are from? Hear of this new civilization and want in. The humans and Bast have to shape up quickly to stand a chance at fighting off the Immortals, and so they develop vibranium warfare right quick, as well as have Bashenga lead the charge. They fend off the Eternals, but not without creating a very powerful and spiteful enemy. In the 2022 Wakanda, they are still trying to fully unite the tribes, but cannot because of big egos. A new big bad rolls into town, Dr. Doom, who wants all vibranium everything. Vibranium armor, a vibranium castle, a vibranium soldier army. The works. The greedy tyrant requires all their attention and resources. The 5 tribes have to unite to fight Dr. Doom and prevent the world from falling under a totalitarian regime. After naming a new Black Panther and fighting hard, they defeat Dr. Doom, who was actually working for their 10,000-year-old enemies all along. You guessed it, the Eternals are back for payback. The new Black Panther decides that it's time to expand their empire as their $90 trillion vibranium stock isn't enough. They want to become gods, and so they decide to invade Olympia, with high hopes to crush the Eternals for good. Like the Corleones, the Wakandans dress nice and talk smooth in the public eye, but beneath their generosity and eloquence, they are a civilization based on violent conquering and cannot shake it no matter how much they invest in South Central LA. After the Wakandans see what they can do together, the United Tribes create a round table like King Arthur and the Justice League. They stand at the table and yell "Wakanda Forever" right before the credits roll. Hopefully, the credits roll with a brand new Wakanda-inspired Wu-Tang Clan song. As far as cameos go, we want every black on-screen superhero ever to appear. Blank Man, Meteor Man, Invisible Boy, Blade, Luke Cage, Storm, Nick Fury, Steel, and the Human Torch. Okay, maybe that last one doesn't work. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Ngozi. She bonded with an alien symbiote. You know, the same kind that made Venom and Carnage, trained a little with the Dora Milaje, and boom! Became an alien human Black Panther. Now that's dope.